Well, welcome to this Zoom training call on Zoom. I mean, we're having a Zoom meeting, but this is all about getting our leaders at the point used to and understanding how to use this technology. Pastor Dave and I are hosting this meeting. Dave, you're here with us. We're recording this.
Yes, I am.
Have you on board.
Thank you.
What would you say to our leaders, especially our small group leaders and people that lead meetings, about the importance during this time of not stopping meeting? The Word of God says, this is crazy. It says, do not neglect the meeting of yourselves together as some are in the habit of doing. This is in Hebrews. But
Amen.
Let us encourage one another, and all the more as we see the day of the Lord approaching. That scripture is really interesting as we go and take a few minutes right now to talk about a way to not neglect meeting together during a time when we're told not to get together.
Right.
Pastor Dave, the importance of that, talk about that just briefly as we get into this.
Well, I seen a great example today during our church get-together, our whole congregation getting together over Facebook, over a video audio feed that was live. That not only did we have a chance to join in together where we couldn't, not because of this technology, but because of it, not only did we participate, we had people that never even seen us before or heard of us, or those that are searching for God came onto the site. And that was fantastic. And I wrote out a little email to the group leaders saying that, we need not to neglect advancing God's kingdom at this time of the coronavirus scare. So we need to continue and use the tools that God gives us to do these things. And they're right there for us to use. And God uses things that man means to for evil. He makes them to work for his good. And so this coronavirus might seem like it was a bad thing going on, but with the tools God gives us, he's going to expand his kingdom even more. And that's such a great time to be a part of. And God doing this with us is fantastic. And Pastor Mark, show us how to do this. This is going to be great.
Well, thank you, Pastor Dave. Real quick at the beginning of this message, we just want to deal with one part of this. We're going to teach you a quick technology today that's free. You can subscribe to it for a little bit of money and expand some of its abilities. And we'll talk about that briefly too. But you can make your way through this with the free use of this technology. It's super easy and it's fun, but you've got to just go through a little bit of the pain of the setup and understanding it. That's what we're going to do today. I just wanted to mention to the small group leaders, today is the 15th of March. And on the weekend, we sent out a note, an email over to Pastor Dave and I were trying to figure this out. We sent an email over to Saddleback, and they've provided these DVDs, which are amazing. But if you try to screen share and play them on your device, and they won't work. They pick up the fact that you're streaming, and there's some coding in them that keeps it from working. So we're asking Saddleback for a streaming provision. I'm sure we won't be the only ones. So as that happens, for the small group experience, for the video portion with Rick Warren, we're going to see if we can get a streaming version of that. There are some non-techie ways to deal with that technically. You can even play it on a TV and set up a phone on a stand and replay it that way over Zoom. That would work. But anyway, we're going to try to deal with that, and Pastor Dave will keep all of you group leaders informed on that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's just go forward, you guys. I'm going to screen share now so that we can help you understand some of the technology. How do you get Zoom? And once you have it, how do you invite people to it and lead a meeting? So I'll do my very best here to do this. This is being recorded, and hopefully just in less than a half hour, you will have enough tutorial here just to understand it. Also, Zoom does have their own tutorials. If you go to zoom.us, you can find not only how to get a Zoom account, and by the way, people don't have to have a Zoom account. You do if you're hosting. They don't have to necessarily, but they get a lot richer experience if they go ahead and register to use it or get an app for it and register the app. So we'll just go through that briefly too. But here's the first thing we're going to do. Let me screen share. And first thing I'm going to do is take you to the Zoom website and show you how to get Zoom if you're a host, how you get an account that you can use. So that is just done simply by going to zoom.us. That's right here, zoom.us. Oh, I better, I've got my little.
I can see it on top.
Can you see it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you're there, you guys, you can actually sign up to use Zoom. And you will also get options there to be able to get a paid version for $15 a month, I believe it is. The only thing is, you don't absolutely have to have the paid version. Lori and I have one for our business. We're using it now for the church. But the difference is, if you're hosting a Zoom meeting and you have the free version, your meeting can only last for 40 minutes. Now, you're in the middle of a small group session or a teaching session or a board session, you go 40 minutes in and all of a sudden the meeting stops. Well, it's not a big deal as long as you let everybody know up front what the problem is going to be. And then you just tell everybody at that time, I'll start a new meeting. It'll have the same ID. You just come right back. That's a little non-techie way to handle it. And that will keep the use for free, because the church really can't, right now, we don't have a church Zoom system that's paid for with multiple logins and stuff. For right now, we've got to rely on you to get what you need, and we really can't reimburse you if it's a special need for a paid Zoom. So make your own choice. That's up to you. It's not real expensive to get a Zoom account, but right now every dollar counts. And so do what you need to do. But if you're using Zoom for free, just remember, you've got to tell people up front. Listen, most people are really patient as long as you tell them what to expect, right? So I would just highly recommend that. Now, let's just say you go in for Zoom. And what I always do is, when I send a Zoom invitation to people, I create a little process there that teaches people to either download the kernels that they need into their computer. It's a little bit of a thing that sets it up for a computer to use Zoom, or to go to get it on their app store. If they go to App Store, they look for the Zoom Cloud Meetings app. That's what it's called, Zoom Cloud Meetings app. It works great, but I will tell you, if you're hosting, and especially if you're going to do screen sharing, computer is a lot easier to use, but you can do it almost all of it from a phone as well. You can even screen share to some degree there. It's just that the experience isn't quite as easy, but you can just use phone. Lots of people don't use anything but their phone for Zoom. So on a phone, when a person comes into their Zoom meeting, let's say an attendee comes, you got to coach them a little bit, because they're seeing the view, but in order for them to control their mute button and their videos option to be seen, they've got to touch their screen. And when they touch it, down at the bottom left of the screen, they'll see a microphone icon and a video camera icon. That's where they can just simply turn on and off their mute button and their stop or start video. So you just kind of coach them on that. And truly, people that don't have a lot of tech background get a little frustrated on phones with that. But then if they're on a regular computer, the view is a little bit more robust. It's easier, because always at the bottom of their screen, they'll see the icons. And you can notice right now, as I go back to screen share, let me see if that will work. Yeah, I'll just go back to screen share. I'm back here, and you can see when I'm on screen share, the same features of the controls are up here. I can mute myself. Right now I'm unmuted. I can stop my video. If you're handling a meeting, you have a chance to upload a picture, and that picture can be live if you don't want to be seen. Other people can do the same with their accounts if they've gone ahead and gotten the app and registered it, or they've gone to zoom.us and register to use. They have the chance to set up their profile and put a picture in if they want to. Otherwise, they'll just have a blank screen or something like that. Now, when you're leading a meeting, you can manage participants. And here's what that looks like. That's what it lets you do. Right now, I can see that I've got 3 participants. And who are they? Managing them. I can obviously mute myself. Let me move myself here. But I've got Dave Harris and Faye Gandy. Well, you guys, a lot of times when you're hosting a meeting, people get on there and there's a lot of background noise and stuff, and they are just not, they're not aware that it's bleeding through. So what I usually do, especially if I'm screen sharing and there's going to be a video shown or something, is I'm going to just slide down to the controls. Now, do you just see me?
Yeah, in the main screen.
You guys touch your screens, or if you're on a computer, go to your screen, and there are different views you can have. You can touch the views, like Faye, you should be able on yours to look and see a multiple view. It looks like a window.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Slide it. On my phone, you slide. Okay. Now I have all 3 of us.
Now you can see all 3 of us. And what you do is, if you're on a meeting and there's 20 or 30 people in there, that'll fill up, and then it'll go to another page, and you can just toggle back and forth and see everybody. Okay.
Right. I have a PC I'm on.
Yeah.
And on the top right-hand corner, it has gallery view. Then I click on that, it goes to speaker view.
Right.
And it has all 3 people on it. Everybody
yeah, perfect. So that's what you can know. And everybody's got their own control. All the participants have their own control about the way they see the screen.
Right.
You share as the leader of the meeting, is you have a little more of this ability to do this stuff. Now here's something else. There's a chat feature on the computer. It's there, and if you touch your screen, Faye, you'll see the chat feature too. When you go into it, you can type a message that goes to everybody.
Yeah, I just typed in "Hi all."
I saw that, and that should have popped up on the screen, kind of come up in the lower third, and then gone back away.
Yep, I see yours says "Howdy."
Try that too, and send us a message.
Okay, I don't see my chat, so I'm not sure where chat is on the phone.
Touch your screen, look at the very bottom, and tell me what icons you're seeing there.
Mute, stop video, share, participants and more, raise a hand, hide my video, hide my participant, show a name. So
go to participants.
Okay.
And you probably see a chat feature there somewhere.
Yeah, okay, chat. Okay.
You can choose to chat and send a person a message, or you could send one to everyone.
Okay.
Again, a lot of this comes from use, but as you use it, people will start asking you questions about what to do, and you can just they can get through a meeting usually without any trouble as long as they know how to mute themselves. You also can mute them, but and you have to. I mean, I'm telling you, we do enough of these meetings. Even when a new person comes on, a lot of times the kids are going, the dogs are barking. It'll just completely interrupt the flow. And you can even set a setting.
Bottom up.
By the way, you look good, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, you look great. Anyway, you can mute everybody. And so where it says, manage participants, that's where you get to mute everybody or unmute them. So a lot of times during my meetings, when I think people need to be controlled, I just go in there. Now, unless you put a setting on that doesn't allow them to, in a normal setting, if they touch their icon for microphone, you can say that, hey, Dave, would you unmute yourself and share something? But during share time, you just open it up. And I constantly coach the people in my meetings what to do. And you know what? If it gets interrupted a little bit with people because they come in late and they're loud or whatever, you just stop what you're doing and just take a moment and just kind of coach. And it only takes a little while before people catch on. So Little messy sometimes, but that's how that works. So anyway, there's some chat features. Now also you can record your session. And I'm recording this one. Be careful how you use it because it'll fill up your computer with videos. But if you've got a meeting going on like this one, I want people to be able to see this that didn't attend. And so I'm just recording it. I'll get it afterwards. It automatically downloads the video. I pull it over onto my desktop. And if it's too big, and this one will be, I just upload it to Google Drive or something like that. Might need a little help or put it on a thumb drive or whatever to share it. But if you know how to do that, you're golden. Let's see. The screen share feature, again, is real easy. You can do it. Now, I will tell you this. On a computer, you've got full use of screen share. So no matter what you pull up on your computer, they will see it. So be careful, because if you've got private financial information, they'll see it. Okay, so they'll see whatever you pull up. But on a phone, you can do the same thing. It's a little more limiting because it doesn't allow you to share video content. You can share pictures, other stuff, but obviously if you've got something going where you've got documents to open and show them, I'm just going to show you guys how that works real quick. So let's just say I wanted you to see a PowerPoint. You guys will see exactly what's on my screen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can get out of your programs, go back and do whatever you need to do there. Now, how do you invite people to a meeting? Well, there are a couple different ways, but I can tell you this. One way you can do it is right from the control center. You can simply invite them. Now, you're going to notice an ID number right here. You see that? 586-858-6484. That is my ongoing ID number for, if I just open a meeting, that's the number it'll give you. I can choose to pick a different number for a different use, but I find most of us are going to just use the same meeting number over and over and over. All these Zooms I'm doing, I'm just sending the same invite out to them. When you set up a Zoom meeting, this will be a little more difficult. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this because I'm on Zoom, so I don't know if I can show you I'd have to stop the program to show you how to set the program up. But let me just tell you this. You can schedule it and it can go into your calendar. And as long as your Zoom account has been logged into, on a phone, it just stays logged into. On a computer, you may have to log back in. As long as you remember your ID and password for your login. If it's logged into, you can just click links. It'll remember that you're the host because it knows your number, and then you can just simply have a real simple way to invite people to it. It's easy. It's right on the setup screen before you start your meeting. You can set it up by copying and pasting the invite into an email, or you can send it by text or whatever you need to do, or Facebook Messenger. Okay, you'll figure that out quite easily. So, any questions from any of you guys? You're all unmuted, so have at it.
I don't have any. Okay.
The number at the top of the screen, that 586, is that was your number for the?
That is the ID number for this call you were on, and when you came to me, you clicked the link, and that number was in that link.
Okay.
You can also have somebody open their Zoom, and there's a little icon that says join a meeting. And if they click that, it'll ask for the ID number, and they don't need the hyphens or anything. If they put that number in, it's going to automatically connect them over. Typically, too, it asks them if they want to use internet for sound, and they just click yes, select that. They have different ways that they can get in. There is a one-click system that people can click and from an iPhone, for instance, or from an Android phone. The only problem is that it'll call in, and when it calls in, it does not identify always who's there. So it's really good if people just go ahead and download their app. I always tell them, download the app and register it. Or if you're using a computer, go ahead and go to zoom.us and register to use. And that way, from then on, you always know who's joining you.
Okay.
Okay.
One other question. If I press participants on the bottom of my phone, it says I can press chats or I can press invite. So if I press invite, then that invites other people?
Sure does. And you can do it right on the fly too. Somebody comes in and says, hey, you know what? Jimmy would love to be in this thing with us. You can send that right to them. And they can just say, you've got an invite. They follow the prompts and they can be in there within 30 seconds or a minute.
So if I realize that not everybody's, if we're doing our class and not everybody's joined, I can invite and go down the list and say, we're on.
Absolutely.
Come join.
Absolutely. And I would just say this too, you guys. It is not, it feels awkward enough at first to make you want to not do it anymore at times. But if you just kind of prep your mind and understand, almost everything you ever do feels that way when you're not good at it. And you gotta be bad before you're good or good before you're great. And I'd say I'm, other than sometimes getting confused on how to get a full screen back or whatever, I use this so much that it's beginning to feel more normal. And I think it's a good time for a new normal. So good time to not give up on it. I think after this whole thing is over, and I believe it'll be over, this whole virus thing, we'll be better equipped than we've ever been. I mean,
amen.
I gotta say, your marriage ministry could expand during this time. I mean, the stuff we learned, you could even, now you can choose not to use Zoom. Zoom is really great for some interaction because people can raise their hand or they can go and send they can chat and stuff like that. But, we were going to use Zoom for the church worship, and it's just not a good use for it because so many people needed to be there and we couldn't really, also you'll find, here's another tip. If you're hosting, pick a view of your face that is, get your device up, either up straight at you, close to that, or coming down at you, because I can't tell you how many people you're going to see that look just like this. That you can't really help that when it's the participants, but you really shouldn't do that stuff when you're the leader. You should pick a view, check your lighting. You can see the camera come up. If there's not good lighting, get in a place where there is. Make sure maybe you need headphones so that you can control the sound a little better. You get used to that stuff. But those are just some tips that I've learned over time that can be helpful. Any other questions or thoughts?
Is there another thing that we could use with our group that's better, or just try it with this?
For your kind of group, you could try FaceTime Live. They can interact there as well. Now, what we discovered today during the church service, we had to find more than one way. We couldn't just do FaceTime Live because maybe 10 to 20% of our people don't use FaceTime. So that's why our guys work through the night. Actually, our tech guys.
You mean Facebook or FaceTime?
I'm sorry, FaceTime. I said FaceTime. FaceTime is better for two people.
You have to have an iPhone for FaceTime.
I'm sorry. I meant Facebook.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that correction, Dave. But there's Lori.
Sugar pie, honey now. Sugar pie, honey now. I love you guys. Woo-hoo!
So let me just answer that question again. We've just been running from one Zoom to another literally all day. But you could do a great job on FaceTime Live or Facebook Live.
Okay.
Because people that use Facebook, you can start a group there. And you can actually go in there and do a Facebook Live, and they can interact just by typing stuff. They won't be seen, but they can share ideas and icons and all kinds of stuff. So for some settings, think about using that instead. But I'd say for a class or a small group and those kinds of things, this is the perfect setting because it's like being in a room once people get used to using it. They can even choose a room view where they see everybody, and everybody can be heard if it's a time during the presentation when they can share and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a group, you can use Facebook Lives very effectively if it's a presentation type of thing. I would say for a class, I wouldn't get into doing it that deeply. If you've got 20, 30 people involved, I think this is a great format, or possibly Facebook Live. The thing I do like about the format here is the screen share feature, because your speaker, your teacher, like Bob, he may have a PowerPoint with the notes for the day on it. And maybe everybody's got their study books. It's working great in this format for our small group, for instance. We're doing this virtual small group. When we started it, we thought we were doing something unusual, and now we realized maybe all the small groups will be going that way. So, but this gives you a chance to do PowerPoints or pull up a document or a Bible online, or even go to a web browser and show people stuff. Great for that reason. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions here, I'm going to get this thing logged in the books and get the recording out for you guys to disseminate to your group leaders or whoever is participating, so they can understand a little bit more about this. But this is right. We're finding ways. Thank God we have them.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have to send pigeons back and forth to each other now. Homing pigeons.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. All right.
But you did a great job this morning. It's fantastic.
That was.
Great.
Appreciate that. The team blew our minds.
And you guys the guys stayed up all night working on that stuff.
That's amazing.
Because the files were so big that it was hard to transfer and upload, and we had to use multiple different platforms. Sergi, I don't think went to bed until like 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And
dedication. Wow.
Yeah, the dedication was incredible. Just so grateful for this group.
And we
That's better than the dogs keeping us up all night.
Say that again.
That's better than the dogs keeping us up all night.
That's true. But we had a reach through that Facebook Live thing today, because the other thing that people can do is they can start a watch party, and it's just offered to them while they're there. Start a watch party, and what that means is it sends out, it notifies everybody in their contacts that they're on a program watching it. Come and join, and they just click a button, and it pulled all these people in. We had, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of people outside of our church circles that came.
Yeah, I saw 2 people that were just my friends that don't know anything about our church. They joined in because I did it. I shared it.
Sometimes they don't stay, but you're touching people, and during this time, people need hope, and what these tools we have. Anyway, I'll end the meeting because I don't want it to go any longer for your sake and for the recording's sake. But God bless you guys. Just send through an email if you have any need for clarification, and we'll get you your answers, okay?